Hello, and welcome to our second session of Wine Talk with the Rooster Sommelier. Today, we'll talk about how to select wines from any store with confidence, whether you're choosing wine for yourself or a gift for a friend. But first, you need to know what's your wine style. Wine style is important because you need to know what you like before you can like what you buy. This formula can be used by you and friends alike. Boisé and Master Sommelier Marley Old of the Boisé Collection created an intuitive wine navigation system that I love, and it's called the Spectrum of Style. The Spectrum of Style looks beyond the grape and the region and sorts wines into flavor families reflecting the direct link between grape ripeness and wine's most important sensory trait, smell and taste. There are 5 Spectrum of Style categories. The first being vivacious. These bright, tangy wines includes all sparkling wines, rosés, and our unoaked white wines regardless of grape. They include Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris, Riesling, and our lightest of Chardonnays. These wines are vibrant, bubbly, cheerful, and spirited. Second, voluptuous. I know, you're probably saying, how can a wine be voluptuous? Well, passionate wine lovers can come up with some pretty visual, imaginable ways of describing wines, especially when it comes to taste and texture. And Boisé does not disappoint. This wine category describes wines that make you long for more after swallowing the first sip. They are rich, toasty white wines and are usually barrel fermented and aged to enrich texture and complexity. Most are dry barrel fermented Chardonnays, but some are sweet dessert wines. Third, elegant. These lean traditional red wines are either from cooler regions or picked early to craft a tart, earthy, mid-light style. Most are Pinot Noirs, whether from Burgundy or coastal California. Tasteful, neat, and classy. 4, sensuous. These crowd-pleasing red wines are neither too tart nor too tannic. Designed to be smooth and fruity, most are red blends or merlots, but the category includes lighter Zinfandels and riper Pinot Noirs too. Rich, deep, and luxurious are these wines. And number 5, powerful. These bold, concentrated red wines are turbocharged with flavor thanks to thick-skinned grapes and complexity due to aging. Most are Cabernet Sauvignons, Cabernet Franc, or red blends of similar intense grapes. Robust, sinewy, and dominant. So what's your wine style? My favorite is the powerful family category. Send me your email and let me know what your wine style is. Okay, so now you know about the spectrum of style, let's select some wines. When selecting wine, there are 2 things you must know and understand, and they are all about the wine labels. The label gives insight on where the wine is from and if that location is from an old world country such as France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Germany, and Georgia, or a new world country such as the United States, Canada, Chile, Argentina, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. A wine designated by its name, its brand name, will list the varietal or type of grape it's made from on the front label, which is also an indicator that the wine is from the New World. These wine labels will also list the producer name or winery, the region, the vintage, the grape varietal, the bottle volume, and alcohol content. New World labels can also help in determining the vintner's wine-making style. If the label style is more aesthetic in terms of design, being more graphic and fun, typically the winemakers prefer the New World way of making wine or wine style. These wines are more fruit forward and high in alcohol content. However, some New World winemakers prefer the classic Old World style, which may be confusing in terms of label design. A wine designated by its appellation credentials showcases the appellation's varietal region on the front label, which is where the grapes are grown. Region credentials are more respected than the grape itself, which is an indicator that it's from an old world country. These wine labels will also list the country of origin, the name or company and address of the bottler, the bottle volume, and alcohol content. Appellation credentials are prestigious and are only awarded to vintners that conform to stringent quality level rules and regulations to earn the right to place the appellation name on their label. A good example of an appellation credential area is Chablis. The Chablis region of France grows Chardonnay grapes, but you will never see Chardonnay listed on the label. The old world labels are of classic design, typically displaying a vineyard, a winery, or the vineyard's crest, with clean lines and classic design. These wines are more balanced and less fruity, with less alcohol content. So basically, New World wines, well, they've been around since about the 16th century. But Old World wines, they've been around since Jesus. The back label is also about the fine print, informing you of the legal warnings, hazards, and side effects of consuming alcohol. And these may vary depending on the laws that govern the wine region. Like a good book, the back label previously gave insight on what aromas and flavor profiles you can expect from the wine when you taste it, based on the soil, the region, and Mother Nature. But recently, the back label is used more for the winery's history and story. However, some back labels still include a description, but just in case they don't, you can depend on your smartphone internet to quickly search for the wine you are interested in. Wineries will list flavor profiles under wine description or wine tasting notes. Now, for my favorite part, wine tasting and food pairing. So in our first session, we talked about two wines that we'll be discussing and tasting. And the first one is OFS, which is our finest selection from the Deloche Winery. This particular one is a Chardonnay, and it's a 2016. Now, 2016 means that's when the grapes were harvested in order to make the wine. And this wine will probably fall in the category of voluptuous because it has that full-bodied, buttery flavor. And we're going to taste it and figure out what it's all about in just a few moments. But again, OFS means our finest selection. This particular label, we remember we were talking about labels for New World wines. Well, because the United States is part of the New World, this one is typical of a New World label. It actually showcases the logo for the wine company, which in this case is the fleur de lis, which is the flower of New Orleans. So this will be considered as a label that you look at as being fun, and it basically embodies the winemaker's idea of what the wine should represent. So let's give it a taste. So when pouring wine for a taste, you want to do just a little bit, because you want to make sure that when you swirl the wine in the glass, it's not going to come flying out. You want to swirl it so all the air gets into the wine and the chimney of the glass, so when you smell, all those flavors and aroma can be brought into the century of smell. And this particular one, oh my God, it smells like green apples and pineapple, maybe pears or something. But anyway, everybody's century is different. So when you smell a wine and when you do wine tasting, it's all about your sense of smell. So if you smell green apples, then the wine has green apples in it. If you smell pineapple, then the wine has pineapple in it. So don't get stuck trying to think that you have to match somebody else's century. So let's give it a taste. You want to make sure that you make the wine swoosh around in your mouth so you can get the whole volume of flavor and feel the texture of the wine. And once you do that, you can actually validate whether your taste buds validate what your brain already knows. Because this wine, I taste green apples. I taste pineapple. I want to know what you taste. Let's give it another taste because I love wine. Cock-a-doodle delicious. This will taste really good even if you had like popcorn. Something as simple as that. But it will go very well with bold foods, because it's a full body wine. It can handle, I'll say lamb, a good lamb chop. Something, buttery and, fish or crustaceans and, all those different types of food that will basically balance out all the flavors, even Asian foods. This would taste wonderful with Asian foods. So that's OFS, our finest selection, and it definitely does not disappoint. So the second wine is from the Wattle Creek Winery, and this one is the Merlot, and this one is a 2017. Merlots are wonderful wines. They get some kind of bad rap in, various different places, but Merlots are wonderful. They're left on the vine to ripen to their fullest potential, and the flavor, you get those berries and, earth, in the wine. But it's something that you definitely have to taste yourself. Now, wine cleans wine. So I'm going to use my same glass that I use for the Chardonnay to taste this particular wine. And because you really don't have to change glasses in order to do that. So we'll put that one there. So same thing, we'll give it a swirl so that the aeration can happen and get the flavors of the wine to develop in the chimney, and then you smell. Ooh, those deep berries, you know that this is a rich, rich wine. You can smell the earth. Let's give it a taste. Again, you want to let it just roll around in your palate, in your mouth. Get the fullness. This one has those deep berries. Oh my goodness, I taste cherry. And earth. It's an earthy type of, maybe, I don't want to say sage, but it's an earthy flavor. But mostly it's deep, dark berries that I taste. So it does confirm, my palate confirms what my brain already knows. This Merlot is smooth, and Merlots are known to be smooth in texture when you swallow from the front of the palate to the end, to the finish. They're very smooth, very silky, wonderful wines. And this particular label, again, since they're both wines are from New Worlds, they have the whatever the style is of the winery, reflecting their logo, the winemaker's style, the elegance of what he feels or she feels the wine is. This one, like the other, it doesn't have very much information about what the wine tastes like or what you can expect to taste once you open. But it's very, very good. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wineries that are getting away from getting away from listing the taste profiles of wines on the back of the label. They want to talk about more of the history of the winery itself. So you won't find that typically on the bottles anymore. But as I stated before, you can find it elsewhere. Like, use your smartphone, look up the bottle of wine, and from there, it will give you the wine profile under either the description or tasting notes. So you'll have all the information you need before you actually pay for it. Again, Merlots are wonderful wines. I love Merlots, and I want you to try it. Give it a chance. So, in our first episode, we talked about a special wine that we were going to showcase, and that wine we're going to unveil right now. So, drum roll, please. So, our special showcase wine for this episode is VIVACIOUS. VIVACIOUS is a winery right here in Texas. Now, you may know, some people know that I'm originally from California, but I've moved here to Texas and I've been here now for 3 years, and I have experienced some of the best wines that can definitely give California a run for their money. And that's one of this particular wine is one of them. VIVACIOUS Roussanne. This Roussanne grape I have never tasted before, but when I visited this winery, they rolled out the red carpet for me and a couple of friends of mine, and we sipped and tasted, and the Roussanne was what I brought back with me. So ever since then, it's been on my mind. Now it's available online, so you can, not online, I'm sorry. It's available at their wine club, so you can call them and order this particular wine and others from their winery. Wonderful, wonderful. This particular wine, it has the taste of pears, and this one would also fall into the category, if I were to categorize it, it would be in the voluptuous category as well. So this is a wonderful wine. I need y'all to check it out, taste it. If you can't go to the winery itself, then get online, give them a call, join the wine club. It's wonderful. So now that we have tasted our wine, we know exactly what it tastes like. I still want you, before you have a meal, taste the wine first and then have a taste of the food. So this particular dish we're going to pair with the OFS Deloche Winery Chardonnay. We're going to pair some fish and some garlic noodles with a nice butter sauce. So that's going to bring out all the flavors of this wine. I think it'll work really well. So let's give it a taste. So you taste the wine first. Just to get the flavor on your palate. And then you can take a taste of the food itself. Just get a little bit of everything so you have all the flavors on your palate. I have such a wonderful husband who is a chef. I know y'all wish that too. This is so good. So you taste some wine with it. Oh yeah. So when you pair wine with food, the wine should complement the plate, the food itself, and the food should complement the wine. If there's any type of separation, meaning that one overpowers the other, then it's not a good pair. But this is wonderful. Chardonnay goes very well with butter sauces, fish, garlic, salt. It basically balances out. If it's sweeter wine, if the salt content will balance out the sweetness of the wine, and the sweetness of the wine would basically balance out the saltiness of the food. So it's a perfect marriage. Y'all, there is nothing better than wine and food. The combination is a marriage made in heaven. Our next dish that we're going to basically pair with the Merlot, which was the second wine that we chose for today, we're going to pair it with some saffron garlic potatoes and filet mignon with some vegetables. And this particular wine, even though it's a softer version, this would go very well with a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Cabernet Franc, but because it has the ripeness, then it goes very well with salty, fatty, really nice flavors. So as we were talking about before, it doesn't matter, the color of the wine, it's just what flavor profiles are there and what matches very well. And this particular wine goes very well with salty and fatty. And I think we have that right here. So let's give it, well, first let's give the wine a taste. And that's just to get your sensories open about the wine itself. And then once you taste the food on your palate, you're going to taste the wine again. I love a Merlot. So now let's give a taste of the food. And you want to take a bite of everything, just a little bit here. Let me get my napkin so I can kind of not drool, because it's some good stuff. I know it is. So we get a little bit of the saffron potatoes and that, and then the meat. Just get it all in one bite. Cock-a-doodle delicious. Wonderful. So let's give the wine a taste. Cock-a-doodle-doo. If it's a perfect pairing, then the wine should mellow, the food should blend. It's a perfect marriage. So good. Some wines are made, specifically made, not just to drink, but to pair with foods. And that's what's going on right here. Oh my God. Even though you can drink this Merlot by itself, it pairs so well with this food. So here's a little Rooster tip for you. When you're not able to drink the whole bottle of wine with your food, those different spirit bottles that are out there, like Cavassier and even vodka. That's another one of my poisons that I like. The corks, these corks make wonderful recorking solutions. Okay, it goes in, see, and it comes out very easily, but it still seals it. So it keeps those natural flavors, and it doesn't allow evaporation to happen. Don't throw these things away. Keep them. If you know someone that has, that drinks cognac or vodka, and they have these particular type of corks in them, then save them. Because you can recork the bottle and you don't have to slam the old cork back in there, that it came from. Because it's hard to get these corks back in the bottle. So this one, it's easy to put in and it's easy to take out. I use it whenever I go on picnics, and I don't have to take a corkscrew with me. Just, take it, or wherever you want to go. It doesn't have to be a picnic. It can be, well, I'm not going to say, but it could be anywhere. Just put the cork in there and you don't have any problem with uncorking and then drinking. That's a Rooster tip. All right. So until next time, thank you and cheers. If you find this video fun and informative, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Wine Talk with the Rooster Sommelier. It's free. And email me at info@theroostersommelier.com with your questions or comments. Cheers!